What's up? This is John from John Vance for Photography, and I finally made it back to New York. I'm super happy to be back. It's been like 50 years since I've been here, but I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about street photography and how it's very similar to wedding photography. Now, I know a lot of people don't really like when I make that comparison, but I do believe that doing street photography is a great way to practice for wedding photography. So why don't we walk around the city, see what we can find, and I'll tell you the reasons why I think wedding photography and street photography are extremely similar. As far as gear I'm rocking with today, I have my Holdfast Solo Strap. I love this forever when I'm doing something small and just walking around. I'm also going to be rocking with the Fuji X-T30, which is one of my favorite little cameras. If you don't have one, you definitely should pick it up. For lenses, I have the 23 f2 and the 35 f2. Maybe I'll swap between the two. But that's what we're working with, and let's go ahead and do some street photography, and I'll also give you some reasons why I think it's great to practice street for wedding photography. So basically how I'm shooting today is I have this thing thrown in JPEG, just doing black and white. I can change to classic chrome anytime I want to, but for the most part, I'm trying to shoot it as film as possible. So I have it set to single shutter, and then I'm using Acros for my black and white. Yeah, we're just gonna hang out and try and do some film photography.
So generally whenever I'm doing street, I always go for my smallest camera. The main reason this is it makes me look like a tourist and kind of low-key. Basically, it's my ninja setup. No one's really gonna see me, and they're not gonna mind me taking photos, and they also don't really know that I'm taking professional photos, so it's nice to kind of hide low-key. Taking this approach as well helps you learn how to be a fly on the wall at a wedding and get those candid moments. Again, if you want to be a photojournalistic or documentary style photographer, doing street photography can help you learn that and practice for it.
So one way I think street photography and wedding photography are extremely similar is capturing moments and being aware of those moments. Like you saw earlier, knowing the spot you want to be at and knowing that a moment is gonna happen there is huge for wedding photography. And you can practice this while doing street photography. Basically, being aware of your surroundings and what's happening around you and being able to be ahead of what's gonna happen and be able to snap it is huge for wedding photography. So doing that during street is a great way to practice it for weddings.
So obviously with this trip to New York, I wasn't able to get the street photography that I'm used to with so many little people being on the streets. So I wasn't really happy with all I got out of this walk, but it was cool to practice and kind of focus on getting what I could, even though there wasn't much happening. One thing this made me think about as well is that street photography can help you grabbing details of things that you may not have noticed. You get to look a little bit harder at the area that you're in and pay attention to what's happening around you more, which will also help you with wedding photography. And keep in mind also, just getting used to your camera and being very familiar with it is the main point of doing street photography for wedding photography. Again, wedding photography is high stake. You can't be slow on your camera. You need to know it inside and out.
So the second reason street photography is kind of like wedding photography is the fact that the moments you want to catch happen, and you can't go back to someone on the street and be like, hey sir, can you just walk like that for me again? And wedding photography is just the same way. If you see mom and daughter embracing for a moment and you don't snap that when it happens, it's gone. And I think street photography helps with you, again, noticing that moment happening, being there ahead of time and ready for it, and then hitting it when it happens and getting the stuff and getting the focus and getting it down while it happens. Just practicing being able to have your focus and exposure and everything correct at that very moment is a big part of street photography and also wedding photography.
So on that same note, you really need to know the exposure triangle like the back of your hand. And again, don't ask photographers what their settings were. Understand why certain settings give you certain looks. Just like this shot, where I was able to get the bike rider blurry, but the exposure was still well. And remember, I'm shooting in straight JPEG, so there was no editing there. Being able to change your settings on the fly to get the look that you want is something that you should know, again, like the back of your hand, and street photography can help you do this. Basically, anything that gets you using your camera so that you understand your camera more is something you should do. You should not be practicing and figuring things out at a wedding because the stakes are too high and your couples have paid you for a product, so you need to deliver.
So the last and final reason I think street photography is great practice for wedding photography is just getting down the speed of being able to get the shot and get it quickly. Basically, this goes along with the last two things I was talking about, but again, with street photography, there's a lot of things happening, and when you see the shot, you need to be able to grab it and grab it at that very moment. You can't be stumbling around with your camera and trying to figure out what you're doing. You have to know exactly how to get the shot, how to get it into focus, how to get it exposed right, and just compose it the way you want to. So this is the main reason why I think street photography is great practice, because again, it's low pressure. There's nothing that you need to do if you miss the shot, whereas with wedding photography, you need to be able to do that 100% and not miss it. So go out, shoot some street photography where you can practice and miss the shots and get good so that when you're at weddings, you can get all the shots that you want.
Another thing I love about using street photography to practice for wedding photography is it can help you learn how to shoot from the hip. Basically not using your viewfinder, barely using your screen, just pointing and getting the shot you want, even though you're not looking at exactly where everything is lined up. Again, street photography is a great place to practice the things you want to do at weddings.
So those are the reasons I think street photography is great practice for wedding photography. And again, it's something you can do without high stakes before you get to your first wedding. Let me know what you think of all the different tips I gave, and if you have any others yourself, leave them down in the comments below. Also, don't forget to hit that like if you enjoyed this video and this information, and don't forget to hit the like if you enjoyed the video and you want to see more stuff like this, and subscribe to learn more about wedding photography and maybe some more street photography. Thank you again for hanging out, and I'll catch you all next time.